Hi everyone, my name is Eric and I am one of the co-founders of Curipod. I'm very happy to welcome you to this Curipod PD session. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to first walk you through some basic parts of Curipod. Then I'm going to dig more deeper into some advanced features in Curipod, but all the while I will stop taking breaks and give you some exercises you can do to explore Curipod. But first, to give you kind of a short background, for myself, I usually say I was born with Hermione reflex. And what does that mean? It means that if someone asks a question, my hand tends to do this. I had a great time in school. I loved it. But after high school, I got a scholarship to move to Mozambique and work as a teacher there. I worked there for a while, and then I got back to Norway. And I started studying economics of all things. And my first time in uni, I met this guy called Jens. And Jens was one of the smartest people I've ever met. So I thought, I want to work a lot with him. So what I did was we started working together on every project. And after working really closely with Jens for 3 years, I learned that he had originally dropped out of high school. And I became quite interested because I'd never met anyone dropping out. And we got to talking, and it figured we had some very strong opinions about education. I had loved school myself. He was what you would call like actively disengaged. He asked a lot of questions, didn't like the answers he got. But basically, we just figured we'd been experiencing the education system so differently, and we really wanted to contribute. So we started Curipod, and the goal from the beginning was just how can we make a tool where students are engaged, where they're curious, and that's where it started out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my tab so you can see inside Curipod, and we will start moving through it. So here I am logged into Curipod. And it's a lot to take in, so I'm just going to start with the very, very basic. Curipod is an interactive presentation tool. With the presentation tool, I mean that you can build presentations like you can in Google Slides, PowerPoint. And with interactive, I mean that students can interact with the slides. And the whole idea of Curipod was to build activities which makes it easy for the students to participate, show their knowledge, learn, while still keeping a lot of the focus on what's happening inside the classroom. In Curipod, we do believe that the most important thing you're learning is what's happening when students and teachers talk to each other. So we very much do not want you to be spending all your time just clicking on stuff inside Curipod. We want it to be in the classroom, interactive, think, pair, share. Yeah. It's not a tool where the students should sit and click for themselves. But just to show you very briefly what it is, if I click Create Lesson, I can start building out my own lesson. And I will go deeper into this afterwards. So for now, I will just create two very basic activities. One open question. What do you like about Curipod? And draw your best moment from education. Okay. I have made a very short presentation, and just to show you, when you as teachers click present, you'll go here. Now you're ready to use your Curipod. If you click on this lobby menu, you will get a PIN code for the students to join, or they can scan the QR code. You can start the lesson, you can move through it. Now, what I'm going to do now to show you how Curipod works is that instead of clicking present, I will click preview. In the preview, we get the teacher screen like the one I just showed you, but we also get a student screen. So here, as a teacher, I'm muted now. I'll drop down the lobby, and I'll copy this PIN code, and I'll put it into my student device. So on this little device here, I'm now a student, but here I'm the teacher. So how Curipod works is that you can move through your slides, and some of the slides might be activity slides. If there are activity slides, If there are not activity slides, it will say slide down here, but if there are activity slides, it will say what type of slide it is, like drawings or answers. I'll just show you what happens when I click start activity. So while the activity is running, the students can write on their device. I can write what you like about Curipod. I like how easy it is to write. In this one, I think I allow them 3 answers. Yes, 1 out of 3. I like how much focus it is on the classroom experience. I'll just go for this. The teacher can add more time or stop it right there. And then on this one, I have voting activated so that students will vote for the most relevant answer. And we got our answer here. And this is how we move through. So I can take a look at those, see the answer on the big screen. I will take a look at the next activity, which was a drawing activity. Where I can draw. So instead of the writing pad, I get to draw, paste in images. Okay, keep voting on this one. Now I'll exit it. So this was the first step of showing you Curipod. And the reason I did it like this is for you to see what the student experiences look like, because that's the most important to us. Curipod for a teacher is often a lot about building the lesson, but at the end of the day, it's how the students experiences Curipod that's the most important. That's also why I hope you will come back to Curipod, because I know that when you test it in your classrooms, your students will react in ways you didn't imagine. Suddenly the quiet student will share so many thoughts, or it will suddenly be fun writing. There's so much work put into these activity types from the Curipod side. So I really recommend you to really understand Curipod. Make sure you test it in your classroom. So this was my very first part. It was just an introduction to overall what Curipod is. My next part now is going to show you the 6 basic activity types a Curipod lesson can consist of. So if I click create lesson and then add a new slide, I see that I can add content slides. These are basically just very easy content. They're just templates, so I can add more stuff to them here, but this is where you can build out content, right? You can add text, you can add media, add elements, backgrounds. This is where you design your slides like you can in any other tool. But what I wanted to spend some time on is showing you the 6 activity types any Curipod lesson can consist of. So activity 1 is an open question. So with the open question activity, you set any open question, like the one I just did. What do you like about Curipod? And then you can set how much time the students will have to answer it. You can set how many answers they're supposed to give. And you can say whether or not you want the participants to vote. The voting is a really engaging way of getting the students to interact with each other's answers. That's the whole idea of the voting. You don't have to be the most creative answer. You can say best explanation. You can do so many different voting types there. And then we have the drawing activity. It's essentially the same setup as the open question. Just instead of answering with text, they answer with an illustration. So you could say, draw photosynthesis. Like with the open question activity, you can set how much time they have. You can say whether or not they should vote, like best explanation of photosynthesis. The only extra thing you can edit in the drawing activity is that you also can edit the backgrounds the students will draw. So let's say you wanted them for this drawing to have something in here already. You can draw this. If you wanted them to have a graph, for instance, you can make this in here. You can paste in images. It's just very nice to know that you can check. This background will now be visible on every student's drawing when they start drawing. Then we have two a bit more self-explanatory activities. We have the poll. You've all probably done a poll before. You say, what do you think? Then you change options. You can delete options. You can go here and add the poll option. There's a lot you can do here. And then we have a word cloud, also a fairly self-explanatory activity. What do you associate with Curipod? In this activity, the students will answer by writing words they associate with Curipod and will create a word cloud. But now I need you to pay attention, because now I will show you. These four are very basic activities. The next two activities I will show you are definitely the most impactful activities in Curipod. It is the AI feedback activity and the AI whiteboard activity. So for AI feedback, I've created an AI feedback activity. You see it says AI feedback here. And then I can say to the AI feedback, explain photosynthesis. Well, what will happen here is that you can edit some different stuff. It does not have voting, but I can set the character limit of my students' answers. I'll keep it to 1,000. And then I can choose the feedback template. So for this one, I will choose the science one. But as I will show you later on, you can also customize the feedback rubric here. So I will not customize it now. And I will also show you the other activity, which was the AI whiteboard. So this one, I will say draw and explain photosynthesis. And I have also set the feedback template to science. I will not customize it anything. And I'm ready to show you these activities. So I'll go preview as I did last time, just because I want you to see this teacher screen as well. So I'm joined as a student and I'm ready to start. And the first was an open question activity, and I'll start it. And as you see, the students will be able to write here. I'll just write some test answers. And when they're finished, students will be able to vote. So it's a great way of seeing what they know. The next activity was a drawing activity. And again, I'm showing you here that they can use this drawing canvas to show their understanding of something. So on this one, I will click skip voting. And we see the result there. Let's move on to the next one. If I want to show the poll options before I start the activity, I can click here, show options. This was the poll, and I'll click start. And you'll see the students' votes. Next one was a word cloud, what you associate with Curipod. I'll click start. And the students get to write words. Now, I want to stop here for a second and show you a very important tool in Curipod, and that is the moderation tool. So if I click on settings and open moderation, I will get a moderation tool. And now I will share that tab instead so you can see it. You will see my moderation tool now. And here I will see the students' responses before they pop up on the big screen. So let's see, I wrote something as a student now, and I see, okay, Eric wrote, I don't like this. If I want to dismiss an answer before any other student sees it, it's in the moderation tool you do it. You can click dismiss. It will never show up. And then if you want to dismiss any participants from the activities, you can do that here. So it's just nice to know about this moderation tool. Again, to show you how I got to it, I'll click settings, open moderation, or you can just scan this QR code with an iPad, for instance, and then you will have the moderation tab there. And as I dismissed all the answers, there is no answers in my Wordcloud. But now we're moving to the two last activity types. And these were the ones I wanted you to pay special attention to. The first one is the AI feedback activity. So I'll click one, and the task is to explain photosynthesis. It's how a plant eats. Try that out. And when I'm finished here, teacher can click give feedback. So let's see what happens now. All your students will then get feedback on how well they answered that question. That is quite powerful, because you can suddenly, on any type of question, give every student feedback at the same time. Here we see the feedback the student got. So to move on, this is a very powerful activity. I want to show you the next one, AI Whiteboard activity. And to make it a bit fun, I chose the same activity here. So the task is to draw and explain photosynthesis. So I'll start it, and I'll zoom a bit in on the student device for you to see here. So I want to explain photosynthesis. So maybe I'll start by just drawing the Earth. And then I might want to start with the plant, with some leaves. And then maybe I want to show the sun. Then I can write a bit here. So I can write let me try to write here. I will change the color afterwards. CO2 plus, let's do CO2. Let's see if we do CO2 plus water. I'll just try to write something here. Equals energy. Let's see what the AI makes of that. Make it a bit bigger. And okay, this is my explanation of photosynthesis. Let's see what the AI makes of this. So I'll click OK, and then teacher will click give feedback. Okay, here is the feedback we get. Good start. There's a few things that could be improved. Explanation accuracy. Your label, CO2 plus water equals energy, should be more accurate. So this AI whiteboard activity is extremely powerful, as it allows us to give feedback on not only text as the AI feedback activity, but all types of illustrations. They can do math in here. They can also write in here. They can make very complex illustrations that we will give AI feedback on them. And it's such a great way for the students to show their understanding. So I'll exit the preview now. I'm just repeating that the goal in this part of my PD was just to show you the 6 different activity types that exist inside Curipod. So before, I suggest that you'll take a short break here and think a bit about these activities. And when I continue, or if you just want to continue at once, I will show you how you can build lessons with this a lot faster than just building them yourself here. So if you continue, I'll move over to that concept, which is our generators. So to explain it like this, in Curipod, you can make lessons in 2 ways. You can click Create Lesson, and you can start building and editing your own lesson. But you don't need to, because you can use our AI generators. And the generators are ways to help you combine different activities and content in Curipod into lessons about what you want. So I'm going to start out with the easiest generator. It's called our full lesson generator. It's very easy. You select your grade level, and then you input. If you have a learning standard you wanted to use, you can paste it in, or you can just paste in the topic like photosynthesis, and then you press Do Magic. And let's wait for what Curipod starts building for you. The more complex generators sometimes take a bit longer, but they're definitely worth the wait. I'm excited to see what we get here. Okay, so it has built our lesson. And here we come into a preview where we can scroll down and see all the different slides it has built for us and what type of slide it is. So it starts out with a content slide with some information about the lesson. Then it starts out breaking down photosynthesis. It has created a poll for us. Goes into the depths of sunlight in photosynthesis, water and carbon dioxide. Then it created a drawing activity, an AI whiteboard activity, content slide, poll. So it's built a full lesson for us here. We can either just go directly to present. If I click present, I'll go here. And either I can also just click customize if I want to edit. So in here, I can edit it as much as I want myself. So I can add new activities. If I want to do that, I can change the text. I can delete slides, do all the edits I want. So next thing I wanted to show you is that this is just one out of many generators. The full lesson generator is typically the most easy to start with, just because it builds a complete lesson. We also have this one, which is called Curify My Slides, which works in a way where you upload a PowerPoint or a Google slide that you already have. Our AI will read it, and it will make more Curipod activities based on your content. Then you could go here and you can say, what generators do they have for writing? And here you can find fun generators to spend for writing practice. So, or we can say, do we have anything for reading? So if you use the more specific generators, they will create lessons more, not just complete full lessons, but more tailored towards the topic. So we have, for instance, the word wizard, spell as many words as possible. We'll create a spelling competition, the content slides, some illustrations, and then an AI drawing feedback activity where they will use the letters BRAINSTY to create as many words as possible, and then the AI will give feedback on this. So there is hundreds of generators for you to explore. So how I really recommend, this one is a very fun one, how I really recommend you all going forward is to start exploring. If you're working on argumentative writing, I highly recommend the Convince the Evil AI ruler, or also we have one which is called Monsters and Magic. This one is a very fun one. It creates this escape room where the students have to fight an imaginary monster using inferences from text. It's super fun. If you want to explore more of the AI whiteboard ones, the droids generator or explain the concept is brilliant. But you see, you can filter from subjects, on grades, or you can go for topics here. So I would encourage you to take 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how much time you have, and try to find some generators, make lessons you can use in your next upcoming lesson, and continue. After this, I have one more session about AI feedback, and then you can have some more time to work. But I recommend taking some time and then exploring generators you want to use. Best of luck. Okay, I'll continue if you pause me. And you might have some questions while working as you now did. And the easiest way to get an answer to any question in Curipod is to click here and ask a question. Here our team will answer. So we're open all European and US business hours. So we cover also most times in other time zones, but we will answer all your questions as fast as we see them as well. So just ask any question here. Our team, it's real people, it's no AI bot. We'll help you out as fast as we can. Great. So I hope you all had fun creating some lessons. Now that you've built some lessons, I wanted to just draw your attention again to the AI feedback and AI whiteboard activity. So I'll click create lesson, and then I'll create one AI feedback activity, write an argument for why you should get tomorrow off work. And then I'll do one AI whiteboard activity. Let's just do this one, draw the water cycle. So to go a bit deeper into the first AI feedback activity with text, remember that you can select a character limit here, and then you can select one of our default rubrics for feedback. But you can also customize it. So in here, you see the prompt we're using to give feedback. If you have, here you see for ELA, the default or English or learning how to write, the default is content, evidence, organization, language. If you have something else you wanted to focus on, you can just change this rubric. And when you've changed the rubric, if you want to test whether or not it gave a better answer, you can write the test answer here and click test feedback. You'll see what feedback you get. That's very nice to know about. On the AI whiteboard, it's the same. You can select one of our default rubrics, or you can customize it. This is a very easy way of testing out new ways of giving feedback. As with the normal drawing activity, you can also add a background here. So I wanted to give you a new challenge. I wanted you to go into peers or group up to 4 or 5 people and try to make one AI feedback activity and one AI whiteboard activity together as a group. Then I want you to go present and then have everyone join in and do them and see what type of feedback you get. It's the best way of exploring it. Again, it's the student experience. It's what's most important. So take whatever time you want, 5, 10, 20 minutes. Try to make 2 one AI feedback and one AI whiteboard. Again, very easy. You go home, create lesson, create your own, then AI feedback, then AI whiteboard. Build them out, test them out, and explore them. So I'll let you continue with that. And I'll continue now with my other stuff, unless you've bought me. So now that you've tried to both build Curipod lessons with generators, you've tried our AI feedback activities, I highly recommend you to try to build something you can just test in your classroom. Again, it's the student experience that matters. You will see when you build the generators, we put a lot of emphasis into making room for students to talk to each other. It's all about creating that vibrant classroom environment. But I had a few more things I wanted to show you. These are more kind of Curipod expert level things. So nice for you to know is that if you have students speaking other languages, you can translate Curipod slides to any language in the world usually. You have most of them. You can just go in here, select the slides you want to translate. Again, I clicked on translate down there, and then translate. I got copies in that language. Another important thing to show you is our report page. After you have used Curipod with your students, you will get a report. And you can go into that report and in the report page, you can see the participation of all of your students in all of the activities. But the really cool thing you can do is that you can paste in your learning objective. So I can write in my learning objective of this lesson, and then I can press generate insights. And what Curipod will do now is that it reads all your students' answers, and it will generate insights on whether or not they reached this learning objective. So you see here, it produced the most common understandings, most common misconceptions. It also helps you identify students that need help. If you go into the specific students here, you can generate student-specific summaries. And again, it reads the student's answers and it gives you some glow and grow evidence for each student based on what they've written. It's very nice. I recommend exploring this report tool. It's a great way of getting an overview of what your students have learned. Other things which are nice for you to know. In the immerse yourself category here, you have some PD resources if you need that. But a very important tab to know about is this one. So it's immerse yourself, Curipod courses. It takes you to this page. So you see the whole team actually. We're in a mountain during the Norwegian winter, which we love to do. And here you see we have 5 courses. These 4 are mini courses. They take 15 to 30 minutes, and they are great if you need a refresher on what we've gone through today. The Curipod Certified Educator course is the basic introduction to Curipod. It shows you what Curipod is, how a generator works, the different activities in Curipod. Then we have the Curipod AI Feedback Expert, which goes deeper into our AI feedback activities. And the Curipod Students Insights Expert shows you the report page I just used. And then finally, we have the Curipod ELL Expert. It shows you how to use Curipod with different languages, like the translate feature I just used, but also how to give feedback in different languages. So let's move back to Curipod. And then this is a great time for you all to think if you have some questions you need or want to write in our chat. Okay. So again, Curipod should be able to be used for any subject, any grade. It's just a matter of exploring our generators here. There are so many. This one, I love it. Co-write a fairy tale. The students write an explanation of themselves as a character, and Curipod writes a fairy tale for them. It's such a great way of making reading a story interesting to the student. And For the Country is one of my own favorites. I recommend you to try it. There are so many different things in here, but I'm very happy you wanted to do this Curipod PD. Again, any questions we can answer here, and good luck exploring Curipod. Bye.